She wasn't sure, Doug,
Yeah, we don't need that.
if it was just for looks or if it was actually working.
I guess we don't really need this. I mean, I can.
Okay.
Whatever you want to do, man. Just keep pulling up so you can reference it. That's real easy to do.
More pens if anybody needs a pen. Okay. Hey Doug, who do you want me to Premier
Home and Finance.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, we'll give it a couple minutes and then we'll close the door. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
That's your radio station, the Duke.
Yeah, I love them. I keep them on all day long. I've called in before and told them that my last name is Duke. So Doug's and you're with 10-4. 10-4.
Yeah, I mean, that's a partner of mine.
Your
you know,
last name?
Groves.
Groves.
Just like John.
Yep,
John Groves,
yep.
Sean Groves. Irish folks.
Yeah, you're gonna have to tell John that we missed him up here, but we
he had
had
a
to
home
make it
inspection
work.
going on right when
I told
he's
you.
selling his
I
house.
get it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
told you, Julie, about that.
Oh yeah, I'm glad for him.
I have some.
Oh, I love
These brought
those.
these ones, but I have some that are just general in my truck.
All right, I'm gonna grab our last. Anybody else that's coming in can just join us. We did pass around the raffle sheets for the sweatshirts. We are gonna collect them and put them in a box and draw winners for that, for the sweatshirts.
Not with the
Are you guys coming in?
We're gonna have to figure out a way to make them out.
No worries.
Smart to put some raffles there.
Yeah.
Of course, you might already have a
I would have brought some stuff for you. Early.
We'll be here tomorrow too. Yeah, 11 a.m. So if you don't win a sweatshirt today, we will be here tomorrow at 11 a.m. if you want to come and watch us again and hang out with us. Hopefully you will. So I'm Julia Duke. I'm here with Rock Realty, which was started by my mom. This is Marie Duke. I'm a third generation realtor. She's a second generation realtor. It skipped a line because my great grandma was a realtor and then my grandma wasn't a realtor, but then my mom became a realtor. So I like to say that real estate found me. After I graduated from Michigan State, I started working at the office with my mom, even though she didn't want me to at the time. She wanted me to do something else, but I really fell in love with what we do and how we can help people. And just the excitement of real estate. It's very exciting.
I'm gonna crumple these up, but I'm gonna crumple them up. So
Yeah. Well, we can just fold them like, a few times. Okay. Okay.
You should have had us crumple them in.
That's fun. Oh, you want me to back out?
So do you want me to crumple it and throw it in? Yeah, do it.
So what we talk about today might not be as exciting as selling Sunset and buying Beverly Hills, but hopefully you'll get something out of this that'll help you the next time that you're buying or selling, whether it be a horse property, a residential property, or a commercial property. We want to show you how to save money and hopefully demystify the process a little bit. So number one, when you're looking for a horse property, you're gonna wanna start by interviewing multiple realtors. You wanna, find out who you're comfortable with, who you feel comfortable talking about your goals to, and you feel that they're listening and providing a search that is matching up with what you're looking for. So part of what you're gonna get in an amazing realtor is an amazing team. You not only want a great realtor, but you want a great lender, a great insurance provider, and you definitely want a great inspector. All of these things, tradespeople, they're gonna come along with a experienced and seasoned realtor. But the most important thing is not only that they're competent, but that you guys get along and you feel comfortable talking with them, because it's pretty personal. You're gonna get into your goals and your dreams and your wants, and some of those things you'll be able to get and some of them you won't, but a seasoned person will be able to help you with that. So you wanna think long-term when you're buying a horse property, because you don't wanna pay multiple closing fees. You don't wanna have to move again if you get there and find out you needed more land. Probably just always get more land if you can get it. More space between your neighbors. Definitely check out your neighbors. If you can, drive by, knock on their door if you have to, and just introduce yourself and tell them that you're moving to the area, because if they look like they're gonna be problematic, it's best that you don't move there, because you can't change your neighbors unless you move. Location, location, location. How far do you wanna drive to work? Because that's money. And if you wanna have a good commute into work because you wanna live deep in the country, then I respect that, because I do too. I wanna be far away from the city. So the right type and size of property is really important. You know, you don't necessarily need 10 acres. If you are working your horses every single day, multiple times a day, you might be able to get by with the minimum that your township allows for your horses. I've certainly seen professional trainers that are operating out of less than 5 acres in townships that allow that, but they also have indoor arenas where they work their horses multiple times a day. And that's something to consider if you don't have a lot of land. Maybe you want land so that they can run around and tire themselves out. A property inspection is extremely important. It's important to know that you hired a good professional and that they can give you a referral of qualified inspectors, because becoming an inspector is like becoming an ordained minister. And you just have to kind of fill out the form and then get the certificate, and you can start advertising yourself and inspecting. But that doesn't mean that you know anything about construction or should be giving people advice on this stuff. So the best inspector referrals come from other professionals or other people that you know that have sold their house or purchased a house and they really liked their inspector. Somebody you trust referred to you. Picking a right realtor is also important, because there's going to be different fees associated with different realtors, and you want the one with the lowest fees. So many realtors now charge processing fees. We like to operate with teams that can give you the same value and the same service, but not hit you with as many fees. Overall, it's going to make a huge difference to your bottom line and keeping more money in your pocket. They can be up to $1,000 per transaction now, which, even though when you're a buyer, the seller pays for your closing costs, when they have these transaction fees, they just add that to your closing costs. So one thing to really ask realtors that you're testing out is, what are your processing fees? And ask them to show it to you on the listing or buying agreement, so that you know for sure that that's what those fees are. You can keep track of that information until the very end and verify on your closing statement that it's no more. Or if you hired us, there won't be one. So inspections are very important. But viewing as many properties as possible is extremely important, so that you can get an idea of what the real estate market is doing. although you do want to have a realtor and a team that you can trust to be providing you information on values and what you're going to get for your money, it's really helpful to just view as many properties as you can that are going within what you need so that you can also get an idea of the values and where you would like to splurge and where you would like to save. Maybe you want to get more land. Then you might have to take some concessions on the house and get a little less, you know, on that end so you can put more money into the land. These are all things that are easier to see when you've been inside as many properties as your real estate agent is willing to take you inside of. So why we wanted to be here today to help you guys with horse properties. Horses are our passion. They always have been. It's a family thing. We like to be involved in the horse industry together. I try to ride at least 2 horses a day if I can. I want to become more competitive in the arena and start taking more time for becoming better at showing. And
One of the things that's important when you do hire a realtor looking for a horse property is that they understand what you're actually, there's specific needs related to horses. There's specific things with dirt, there's specific things with setbacks and barns and
zoning,
buildings and
how many
zoning
horses you
and
can have.
all of that. And some of the things that you might run into as a person, once you find a piece of property that you love, is it gonna be a $5,000 septic field or a $50,000 septic field? Is it gonna be dirt you can work with in your arena, or do you have to truck it all in? There's a lot of things that not every realtor does know.
And it all comes back to your bottom line. The more of this that your agent knows, the less surprises financially there will be after the closing is over.
And as far as insurances go, you know, everybody works together. So Kane over here is in insurance, and we've got the guys from the mortgage company, but not all properties qualify for all loans. So you don't want to waste your time running around to pieces of property or pieces of property and barns and houses that don't work with the loan product you have been pre-qualified for.
Right. Julia mentioned the first step in the transactions, finding the right realtor. I would argue that the second step is for that realtor to place you with a lender that, you know, can get you financed. And once you're financed and know what you can buy, then it makes their job a little easier. So, my name is Kane Diver, by the way. I'm happy to be here with the. I met Julia back in college. We both are MSU grads and involved in the horse community. And
Go green.
So we all here have something in common, which is kind of cool. I was thinking we're all somewhat involved in agriculture in some way or another. So I was born on a commercial crop farm. My grandfather was the first generation of the farm, and it's still going today. We did vegetables, corn, soybeans, wheat, and so that large-scale farm. But we also were involved in the horse industry as well. When I was a kid, started in 4-H, and then moved on to the larger breed shows showing quarter horses and paint horses. Haven't done it in a while, but I just had a newborn daughter, so hoping she'll enjoy that, and I'll get back into it one day. But anyways, back to the focus here, and so I got involved with Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan out of college, and through that experience learned about farm insurance and insurance in general. So when it comes to insurance, how many of you have ever had to file a claim? Insurance agent is to help you with that process and advocate, making sure that things are paid out the way they should be paid out, and that you are essentially happy at the end of the day.
And all insurances are not created equal.
And that's
When it
very
comes to
true.
filing the claim,
Yeah.
especially.
Right.
Actually, my bug guy told me that. He said they deal a lot with insurance companies, and Farm Bureau's right at the top of the ones that actually listen and pay.
Absolutely, yes. That's also why I'm happy to be here today, is because I represent several insurance companies, but Farm Bureau has the best product for any of your farm needs, whether it's the commercial farm or the small horse farm with a couple head of horses, or maybe it's a big, large breeding farm. We can do everything through their farm insurance policy, which is specific to Michigan with in-house adjusters and whatnot. But I guess something you guys might be interested in when you're looking at buying properties is how to get a good price on insurance. So I always recommend you want to bundle if you can. You know, if you have car insurance, or if you have life insurance, or you know, maybe a business on top of your farm, you want to try to find a carrier that can, or an agency that can accommodate all your needs and bundle it all into one, because they'll be able to apply discounts. There's also discounts when it comes to farm insurance for people that have great upkeep of their property, because to an insurance company that shows that you're probably going to be less likely to have a claim. So you know, just keeping up with your properties can give you a better rate on insurance as well. So
Absolutely. And it all comes back to the bottom line. Having a team of professionals that is being completely transparent about what your costs are going to be before you ever get to the closing table, so that you have time to make sure that all of that fits in your budget and that you're making the right decision.
And it all starts with your realtor, because your realtor is the person that has all the experience with everybody else. And if they care about what you want to do and have the knowledge to help you do that, it's after doing it this long, I can't even tell you how important that really is.
The good relationships they have with other realtors that might be listing those horse properties, if they're not our listings, all of those things help us get your offers accepted over other people's offers.
right.
Relationships, relationships, relationships.
And you guys mentioned the importance of knowing what a good horse property takes to have, you know, the
Oh,
land
there's
and everything.
zoning,
Yeah.
there's so many things.
The land that will be your pastures, making sure they're not gonna suck your horses down and engulf them. There's,
Everybody's very familiar with that right now.
it's not even funny. I mean, horses get stuck in swamps sometimes and they sink. So it's
Pepper did.
it's really important to just to have enough room for your goals, to rotate pastures if you are, you know, depending on that grass for your horses as part of their diet and wanting to keep your land good, then you can't have all of the horses in one spot, especially in the springtime. But again, it all goes back to hiring a professional team that can guide you through the available properties in your area. You won't be able to pick what properties are available, so it's really just a great search going through them all. Looking around the areas that they're in, checking the property taxes, the zoning, whether or not they're going to be transferred as homestead or non-homestead. Lots of important details that.
Yeah, are you gonna run a business? Are you just gonna live there with your horses? Are you?
Are you going to try to run a business and hide it from the township? There's all kinds of kinds. There's all kinds of needs out there.
And then creative lending. I mean, you know, that's huge.
Absolutely. I had an appraisal this week where a conventional loan, you really never know what the bank's going to throw at you. So again, having that team, the dream team, that's going to handle no matter what comes your way. But a brand new house, they required a sidewalk, a cement sidewalk in the middle of a snowstorm. So it's like, okay, great. When are we going to be able to pour concrete? But there's always a solution, and that solution was precast stairs and an escrow, a very small escrow. But some people will become overwhelmed and let it blow up the deal, and that's why every person on your team is so important, because it's such a time-sensitive timeline. That's why all the realtors on TV are running around like crazy, and their trucks are very full of stuff. Because it is a very sensitive timeline that's important to you saving money. Again, if you take too long and somebody lets your rate lock expire, it affects your bottom line. So we'll let our lenders come in and...
Hi, my name is Doug Kingsbury. I'm with Premier Home and Finance. Thanks for letting me speak here today. So I've been in the business for roughly 17 years as a loan officer and an account executive at United Wholesale Mortgage, UWM, based out of Pontiac, top lender in the country, and at Quicken Loans. Was their enemies, so when I went over there,
Quicken, Rocket, all that's the same thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right.
What was the one before that? Rock.
Rock.
That was
We're
a
not
problem.
affiliated.
We are not affiliated.
We're
with
not
them.
affiliated.
Rock
Yeah.
Financial. So we are a mortgage broker in the state of Michigan, so a little bit different than a bank or a direct lender. We have a lot of options, so we work with over 100 different investors. So if we do find a property that doesn't work for, maybe we can't deal with one bank, we can switch to a different lender and they might be able to provide financing for you. So there's a lot of flexibility there. The biggest thing is it boils down to rates and costs. So obviously lenders change their rates every day. We look at them and we see where they're at. We see one lender might be a little bit better. So I can communicate that to you and say, hey, this lender might be a little bit better. Their process is a little bit slower. But I give you that choice, right? So we can get you the lowest cost and the lowest rate.
And I know you keep an eye on them, so they keep.
And I keep an eye, yeah.
Hey,
Yep,
So we
because
get-
a day can make a difference. So
Right.
he's
Every
always,
day makes a
We get
difference.
so many, we're inundated with emails as far as when rates change. So mortgage-backed securities control interest rates. So we have a technology that allows us to say, hey, rates are about to sell off. You might want to lock in right now so you can save some money, because if they go up, you're pretty much stuck at that point. You got to take that higher interest rate. So speed, that's really, I'm the quarterback of the loan. So I'm your contact. I have Deborah, who's a great processor, has been in the business for 30 years, knows everything about the business. Maybe not everything, but she probably thinks she does. But,
confidence is good.
exactly. So we knock these loans out quick and fast, and with a partner like UWM, I worked there for 9 years. Sean, I'll introduce Sean. He's the senior vice president at UWM, and we're good friends and actually worked under him for a long time. You want to introduce yourself, Sean?
What's up, guys? Sean Groves, like you said, man, Senior Vice President of Sales. We are actually the people who make the credit decision and fund the loan. He mentioned speed, and so did Julia. So what our platform is really based off of minimal client effort. So like, I bet you've heard, well, maybe you haven't heard this, but everybody wants to buy a home, but no one want to get a mortgage. Because it's always a pain and it's difficult. So guys with us, and we're working with him, just understand that, our average time to get your purchase agreement to close and get into your home is 2 weeks. So we're very, very fast. We do a lot of our business through technology. And when I say that, not from your end, you don't have to do a lot, but what we do is we use digital automation to basically turn the loan into not me calling and asking guys for a bunch of paperwork. That's kind of been gone for a long time, but still, it's still the average is about 41 or 45 days at times. It's just like,
Yep.
I don't know why, but.
A lot can happen in 45 days.
Right.
45, I mean, come on.
Or a
man.
lot can not
Time kills
happen.
deals,
I get
right?
it.
That's what they say.
I can't even, from your guys' standpoint too, just know that, interest rates are up a little bit, right? That's what people are all kind of afraid of or whatever. And just know that right now Fannie and Freddie have some initiatives out there for first-time home buyers with some really aggressive programs. So, with offering down payment assistance, like pretty much anybody, as long as you're working, you can pretty much get a loan. And when I say that, they have down payment assistance, like, you can put as little as 1% down when you get into a home. So, if you guys have kids, you have family and stuff like that, Fannie and Freddie right now with the rates being where they are, they have the Home Affordable Initiative going on right now. So, like, even if you wanna get a loan for 97%, you get the 3% for a gift, right? So, like, there's just so many financing options right out there now. Now, there wasn't when the rates were in the 2s and the 3s.
No.
But since the rates are up there now, really anyone can buy a house. And then I'm just gonna say the last thing is, guys, rent. Rent is more expensive than a mortgage.
And
Okay?
try to find something for your horses.
Yeah.
That's really hard.
Yeah,
Like,
nothing-
It's significantly higher though, so if you guys wanna try a little homework, go to Zillow or go to Realtor.com and look how much it is to buy it, and then look how much it is to rent, and you can compare the payments, and rent goes up 10% every year, so, just always something to think about, because I know people always get caught up on the rate right now, but,
Yeah.
I mean.
One of the other important things, we talk about speed and rate, and those are important too, but availability. So I'm 24/7. You can call me Friday night, 10 o'clock. I'll be hanging out with my son, and I'll have to tell him, hey, Dad's got to go down to work, and I get a pre-approval out, get it to your real estate agent, get it to Julia, and we can get you into that house. So that's the biggest thing. It's about service and text, call, whenever you need
Yeah.
to, questions, because they come up. So I mean,
To me,
yeah, go
that's
ahead.
that's the most
know-
important thing about customer service to me is you guys are busy. You don't want to be pressing 1 and then pressing 2, waiting for, you get a real person, you get the same person every single time, and you get a direct line to them. There's very few reasons they won't answer the phone unless they're in the shower and they have shampoo on their hands. They're probably going to answer the phone and try to pretend that they're not on the phone.
What area do you guys work in?
So our office is in Livingston County, but it's out of Gregory, which is the southwest quarter.
Right where the 4 corners of the counties
Livingston,
connect.
Washtenaw,
Ingham,
Jackson, Ingham County. But because we make so many friends everywhere, we're up in Shiawassee, Genesee, Wayne County, Macomb, Oakland, and occasionally Harrison. Where's that even at? What county is that?
Where?
Yeah, so it just, it depends on somebody's goals,
Basically.
and
Southern Michigan.
sometimes we have to.
I will add, working with Julia and her team at Rock Realty, they do an amazing job. I deal with a lot of people every day, talk on the phone, have meet people in person. That's, we're all guides in our business, and one thing that they do a great job is the communication. And a lot of times when it gets to when the loan or the new home buyer, or the second home, they're buying their farm and they get to me, they're stressed out and they're irritated with the process. They weren't properly communicated. That doesn't happen with them. So that's what you want, is someone that's
We're small.
proactive
We're a small
and
company.
Communicated. Yeah.
Local.
Family-owned company. I do still call her broker at work, even though she's my mom. That way, I'm not just saying mom, and she treats me like she is my broker. She doesn't.
Don't forget to title, like
Yes.
so we get the loan closed, or the loans, it's closed at the title company, as most of you know, and you get your title insurance then, and that's a very important piece to this too. is
Very
having
important.
a good title company, which you can choose as the consumer as well. And yeah, title is important because if you have an issue with the property line and whatnot.
What's also really important, again, in knowledgeable agents, it's crazy, and we're not here to talk down on anybody, but some people just don't have the information they need to help people make sound decisions, because title actually does not guarantee acreage. And a lot of agents think it does. They say, oh, well, the title company said you got 50 acres, so you must have 50 acres. No, unless you have a stake survey that says you have 50 acres, then you don't know how many acres you have, because when they subdivided the sections, they kind of went along with the world is flat.
From
So-
the old timey, and we lost land.
And it's all measured by the 640 acres and down from
The
there.
curvature of the earth, they never
The
took that
curvature
into
of the earth really
consideration back
messed
in the
stuff up.
day.
So sometimes you have as many acres as you think you have, but sometimes you need a stake survey.
And then they take land for the freeways and things like that. But anyway, that's, yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot of stuff. Very grateful to have my mom to learn from, who's been in the business
Don't
for,
even, I don't,
I
I know
won't,
I don't
I'm
look that
not,
old.
yeah. She's got experience. And her partner, Dina Sabuda, who's burning the roads up right now. She'd love to be here with us, but she can't be,
We're from 1993.
Powerhouse. Yeah, their lock boxes are almost outlawed now because they're like made out of steel and they're like a weapon.
Anybody have any other questions?
So, right now, we live in an apartment.
Okay.
We pay enough to essentially own a residential mortgage. Do
Mhm.
you guys have any advice for us to prepare to buy a home maybe in the next few years?
Absolutely. What I would say is start today. Connect with a realtor and a lender, because if there's any way that lender can help you get a better rate, because you have the time to make any tweaks if they would like, if they say it's going to help you to get a better rate, they just have a lot of magic things that they do behind the
We
scene.
can run an analysis and look
Yeah.
at your credit, your income, your assets, and I can say, hey, if
We
can-
are gonna
That's
unfold these.
all stuff that let's start but let's finish answering your
No,
question.
I'm just saying we have it. Look,
Yeah. But the time can be a really good thing to help you maximize your situation and make sure that you guys are getting off on the right foot. It also gives you time to interview multiple people and make sure that this is the best team for you. So the sooner you start, the better. All right, let's unfold them. Or we'll take 3, randomly select. Okay.
They're all in little crunched up chunks.
One at a time, one at a time.
Okay, let's see what we got here.
Yeah.
Christina Jordan.
Ah, Christina Jordan.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not gonna put it back in.
Okay, yep, no.
Okay, well,
Set it. We'll give them all at the same time.
okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Right now is Exactly.
There's also magnets and business cards for everybody to take, also the pens.
And
Mandrick,
ah,
you are a winner and congratulations. We're just gonna get the last winner and then dole out the goods. All right.
Julie Spencer.
Julie Spencer, congratulations
And guess what? I
everybody.
can read Julie's easy. Okay.
Thank you so much for taking your time to listen to us talk today. We really appreciate spending this time with you and hopefully answering any questions you might have. So if you have anything that didn't get answered afterwards, feel free to, approach us.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you guys. Now we'll get our winners. I believe these are all the same size.
Stuff. We could do more.
Okay.
Want me to run around?
I'll get the,
They're gonna need them for these.
yep.
Are you doing it?
Nope. I'm just getting them for you.
Okay.
'Cause I've got checks in here.
Good morning. How is everybody? How are you? Good. How are you? Fine. Another day, no this.
Yeah, because it's loud.
For sweatshirts?
Raffle and sweatshirt. So if you want to be entered in the raffle, just fill out the form that we're filling out, and then at the end we're going to do a drawing, and the 2 winners will get sweatshirts.
There's pens up here too if anybody needs one.
Yep, pens, magnetic cards, regular business cards.
You guys got one?
Yeah, it looks like a long pass. Cowboys, here's your raffle.
All right. Give everybody a minute.
You haven't built anything on it? Maybe not.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for coming today. We really appreciate you taking your time out of the Horse Expo to come and listen to us and spend an hour with us. We're really excited to be here. My name's Julia Duke. This is my mom and my broker, the owner of the company that I also work for, Rock Realty. We've also brought my MSU fellow alumni. We were on the horse judging team together during our time at Michigan State. Kane Diver, now the owner of Eater and Diver Insurance Agency, as well as we have, take it away, Doug.
Finance. not a Michigan State alum.
But is,
my wife was,
yes,
so
thank you, Doc.
that's why I got this, what she got this for me.
Captain of the 2001
Yeah,
soccer
she's
team?
the captain of the 2001 women's soccer team.
So we're all really excited to be here at Michigan State. Go Green. Thank you, Kane. So we're going to talk about some things that might not be as exciting as selling Sunset and buying Beverly Hills, but they're going to help you when you're ready to buy or sell real estate. They're going to help you keep money in your pocket and keep your bottom line. So we'll start out with location. Just kidding. You need to find a really good real estate agent. That's number one, because they're going to be a part of a team, and they're going to have a team ready for you with insurance agents, contractors, mortgage people, inspectors, all very important so that you can be sure that you're making a sound investment. Your team is the number one thing. Real estate agents started the real estate industry now. You can have processing fees. We do not charge processing fees, but they can be up to $1,000 per transaction.
$15.95 was the last one I saw.
Wow, over $1,000.
Up in Harrison.
And
Crazy.
that's in addition to what the agent's already being paid. If you're buying a piece of property, the seller's gonna pay for your real estate agent. So there's really no reason that you should be stuck with a processing fee. You should interview multiple agents, and your biggest question, you should feel comfortable with them. You should feel like you can talk about your goals and that they are listening to you. And when they, start showing you properties, is this in line with what you've asked to be seeing? Are the properties you're getting in your email reflecting what it is that you're looking for at all? Because if you get stuck with a bad realtor, there are some things that you can do to get out of it before it goes too far. But number one, you definitely want to have a really good team because they're going to help you with everything else on this list. It's the most important thing. But next, you want to think about your long-term goals. What you're doing today might hopefully not be what you're doing 5 years from now. So you want to think about, are you going to start that business you've been thinking about? Are you going to have those kids you've been thinking about? Are you going to try to get your kids to move in with you so you can have your grandkids at home? All things that are important to know so you can get the right size and the right amount of property. With horse property, you definitely want to have an agent that is versed in horses because there's a lot more than just making sure that you have a sound house. It's making sure that your horses have a sound house, that they're not going to sink in a swamp out back, or, not have anywhere to ride, or live on a very busy road where if they got out it would be dangerous for them, although we wish that they would never get out, but
You can get fined for that now.
well, and yeah. Or are you a trail rider? You want easy and close access to trails because all of that stuff is accessible. It's just about having the right person helping you. The sky is really the limit. There's always a way to get what you want. But location is very important. How far is it from your work? How far is it from your friends, your family? But also reasonably, if you want to have horses, you should be in the township. It's zoned for horses. Being in the city is just working against your goals. It's also more expensive for something that you don't want. You definitely need to visit as many properties as you can so that you can get a feel for the value. Although your realtor is going to be showing you comparables, sometimes when you're buying something as specific as a horse property, there's not going to be a lot of recent comparables because it's a very specific type of property and only so many of them sell every year in certain areas. So viewing as many properties as you can will help you get a feel for the real estate market yourself. We are going to do questions at the end. Absolutely. You also want to make sure that you vet your neighbors. I really want to stress this point because you cannot control your neighbors. There's a lot of things that you can control in life, but who your neighbors are, you can only control before you move in there. So if you can, knock on the door. Go up to their house, introduce yourself, tell them that you're planning on moving next door. And if they answer the door, feel free to ask them questions. You know, this is going to be your forever home, and there's nothing more hostile than an unhappy neighbor situation, although sometimes you can't meet the neighbors, but if I would give it a shot. If you don't get them on the first try, go back there because you'll have an inspection period where, you know, just keep going back and they'll probably eventually open the door.
Now, once you find something though, there's a lot of things that you can think about because soils are important. You don't want to ignore the fact that you're going to probably put a septic in if it doesn't have a house yet. And even if it does, the septic may need to be redone if it's, then the soils make a big difference. It can be anywhere from 5,000 to 50,000, so it's not a small consideration.
That's
Are
why
you going to put a business there? There's zoning, there's setbacks, there's restrictions on all kinds of stuff, and it varies from area to area.
And reading the zoning book is not fun. It was written by lawyers, so having an experienced realtor that can help you demystify the process, demystify the zoning book, help you understand the rules and what you can or can't do within them is very important. And even if you don't tell the township that you're running a business, they will still find out if you have heavy equipment. So it's best to just plan first for those things. And one of the biggest reasons that we're passionate about being here at the Michigan Horse Expo is that we are horse people. We have been involved in the horse industry for a very long time as a family. This is what we do in our free time together. My mom definitely got me into horses and real estate.
I started on a goat.
Yes, that was a I'm very grateful for that goat, and I'm sorry for riding her.
She was big enough. She didn't mind.
So I try to ride 2 horses a day at my trainers, John Canoyers. I definitely recommend him if you are looking for somebody to demystify the horse process for you. We want to become more competitive, and my niece is the Little Britches rodeo princess, so we try to go to rodeos together and support each other. So we're really passionate about helping like-minded people. That is the reason that we're in real estate, is to help people, help you achieve your goals, help you save money, help you understand the process and make it fun, because really it should be something that you're very excited about. It's a very big accomplishment, and you should be celebrating it as much as you can. And if you understand the process and aren't stressed out, it's a lot easier to do that.
And you might wonder what these other gentlemen are doing here, but it's super important to have everybody working together.
Insurance.
Not all loan products.
Yeah, so Doug Kingsbury again, Career Home and Finance. So I've been in the business for 17 years. Worked with Quicken Loans, worked with UWM, the top 2 lenders in the country. Working at Quicken Loans, I soon realized that the independent mortgage broker was the best for consumers. So I work with over 100 different banks, lenders, and what that means to you is I can get you the lowest closing costs and the best rate on the market. So lenders change their rates pretty much every day. So based off of certain things, maybe their marketing went up, they have to make more money, they might jack up the rates a little bit. I can assess that for you, do an analysis, and try to find you that lowest rate, and we can lock it in. Another big thing is we close quick. So I'm nimble, I'm the quarterback of the process. So I have a processor, Deborah, she's been in the business a long time, she's phenomenal, but it's just the 2 of us. So if you have any questions, I'm available 24/7. You can reach out to me via text, call me on the weekends, late at night, whatever it is.
It's going to be the same person every time you call them.
That's the same with this whole team. You're not going to get push 0, push 1 if you want this, push 2 if you want that. And you know what? It's important to have somebody that's familiar with horse properties, because as we all know, barns don't get what their fair due is when you get an appraisal.
Exactly right.
So,
I mean, the average loan officer, you know, you learn through transactions and doing deals. And I started when I was younger, and you made some mistakes and learned from those mistakes. And the average guy is not gonna understand that now. So.
and all the loan products don't work for all the properties.
Exactly. Well, we do pretty much everything because we work with, you know, like I said, over 100 lenders and banks, so we can pretty much try to find you a loan. If for whatever reason we can't do it, we'll find you somebody that can do it so we can get you into that property.
From vacant land to new construction to a 300-year-old farmhouse or a commercial business.
We can do USDA, VA.
Zero down. There's some
we have
really
1%
great
down.
products.
Yeah, actually 1% down is coming in a week. That's a phenomenal product. One of the lenders gives a 2% lender credit. So typically you would put 3% down, they're giving you 2, and then you only have to put the 1% down. It's conventional loan.
Yeah.
For new construction, you guys do new
New
construction loans?
construction, one-time close.
Generally 20% down for new construction, but you're rolling from vacant land to the house, everything. It's all rolled into one product, one payment.
It's
one
and if the
closing.
rates drop in a year from now, we'll actually drop to that lower rate because obviously rates have come up a little bit.
It's crazy. It's actually benefited the consumer in more ways.
What?
Yeah, so on the one-time close, if you lock in now, we build the house, you get the land, you build the house, and we put you, let's say 6.99%, the rates drop down to 5 in a year, we'll actually just do a one-time drop down.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah, only on the
Yeah.
construction, but we do manage your mortgage, so we do have technology. If we do put you in just a regular mortgage and the rates do drop a year from now, the technology alerts me, I call you, say, hey, rates dropped a half a point, you don't have to pay anything, potentially no appraisal, depending on the area, and you know. We can
What the news isn't talking about with the rates, which the news is never really reporting the accurate real estate information anyways, but they're not talking about the credits that buyers are getting for their closing costs. They're not talking about the concessions on price that people are getting right now. And actually, when put side by side with people's payments from a year ago that purchased when things were ultra busy, people are paying just a hair less now because instead of having to bid against 10 other people and promise your firstborn child and waive your appraisal, there's actually a chance for people to get their foot in the door and work with the seller on a more fair deal. So we've seen a lot of beneficial things so far for buyers this year.
Yeah, if you want to get pre-approved, I have a card with a QR code, you just scan it, and then I get you pre-approved, get you
Even if
Julia,
you
Kane,
don't
because-
think that you want to buy this year, it's a great idea to become pre-approved and see what items you can tweak to get a better rate and a better deal, because sometimes there are simple hacks that we can give you that will optimize your interest rate and your closing costs being the lowest as possible. So there's a lot of advantages about getting pre-approved in advance. And it's not something that you don't have to, as long as you're not getting pre-approved by 10 different agents every day, you don't have to worry about becoming pre-approved affecting your credit score.
And you know, there was a nice couple in the back here that said, hey, is this going to be something that's going to be useful to me? We've already purchased.
Absolutely.
That takes me to insurance, because no one thinks
Absolutely.
about insurance. Everybody's like, oh, I got to have insurance.
Until
Is
you're
insurance
trying to
really
make
that
a
important?
claim.
But Farm Bureau is at one of the very, very best insurance companies if you actually need to use your insurance. And Kane can tell you some more about that.
Thank you, Bree. So, hi everybody, my name is Kane Diver. I have a background in insurance since college. Back in 2015 is when I got into the industry, and I worked at the Farm Bureau Insurance headquarters here in Lansing for a few years, and then recently we advocate for our clients. We help them make sure they have the right coverage when you have a loss, and when you have a loss, we make sure that it goes well as planned. So we're there to provide that service for you, make sure, as your life changes down the road, that your insurance changes. So today I just would like to go over a few things that are relevant to buying a horse property, and talk a little bit about how to get the best price. So when it comes to farm insurance, there's really only one insurance company out there that does it right in Michigan, and it's Farm Bureau Insurance. I've studied the marketplace. We work with tons of different insurance companies at our agency, and they do the best job when it comes to not only the claims, but also just the ability to tailor a policy from your large horse boarding and training facility to your small backyard, just a hobby farm sort of style of property. They can customize that and really get you the best price. So if you're looking for ways to get the best price, I always recommend bundling your insurance. So if you have, a side business and you have your horses and you have your life insurance, you have your car insurance, if you keep that all within the same agency, you're going to get the best price every single time. The other way to get discounts, so when it comes to farm insurance, it's different than going to buy a home. You have different risk factors. You have, like Julia said, the risk of your horse getting loose and running out into the road and causing an accident, and you're liable at that point for, to be named in a lawsuit. Nobody wants that, but that's when insurance comes into play. So not only do we cover for liability reasons like that, but also the structure and the property is also covered under your insurance policy. So if you have a big storm and lightning strikes your barn and your barn goes up in flames, for example, that'd be a terrible one. But we have tons of different examples.
Unfortunately, it happens a lot more than we'd like.
Being in this business, I can tell you, so I have a creature control buddy out that has a very close to us business, and they deal with insurance all the time, and they said there's a couple of ones that come out hands down the easiest to deal with, but the top one is Farm Bureau, because if you actually have a problem, they actually acknowledge it and pay.
Yeah.
Here's why too.
And I've used Farm Bureau for a long time, and I've had a couple things happen, and it's true.
I also use Farm Bureau, bundled all my stuff.
So they have in-house claims adjusters that are employees of the company, so they have more interest involved in. Whereas a lot of companies hire third parties to get, to save on payroll. That leads to clients with, unhappy claims. So
I got a friend that's been out of her house for 2 years now, arguing with her insurance company, and it's a big insurance company too. I was kind of surprised.
right.
So
And everybody cares, about the cost until you have a claim. I had my daughter was born on October 25th, and I had a call from my brother-in-law's father. House is up in flames. So, at the time he didn't care how much he paid. It was, is this going to be covered type of thing. So, making sure you have a good agent that knows horses is important, like Julia, and as well as on the real estate side, because it's not as simple as buying a home. You got to consider all the factors that go into the specific needs that you're looking for, and we can accommodate for you there. So other ways to save: bundle, upkeep, maintenance is important. So when you buy a property, you want to keep up with the maintenance and make it look like a nice property, because believe it or not, your insurance company is going to go out and check it once in a while, and they're going to drive by and they're not going to not going to hurt anything. But if it looks great, they're going to lower your rates because they know that you're taking care of it, and you're probably less likely to have a claim because of that. Other ways: credit scores is important. I know the governor changed the laws back 2 years ago to try to stop that from happening, but it's still happening. There's no way around it. The statistics show that people with higher credit scores are less likely to have claims. So the way that insurance companies discount is based off that. They don't pull a hard credit score or anything like that, but generally if you have a good credit score, you're going to have better rates than someone with a poor credit score. So like Julia and Doug mentioned, planning ahead is important when you're buying a home or a farm, because you got to it might take you a few years. Might not be something something's going to fall into your lap. You know what I'm saying?
it may take 2 years to find it, depending on what you
And
need.
these
Hopefully
guys
not.
I've been doing business with them enough to know that they do take the time and they understand what it takes. And I was just talking to a girl out there who, in a different side of the state, didn't know these guys yet, and they were looking for a horse property she's a horse trainer, and they looked and they got stressed out. And I can't tell you how many times I hear this. I talk to a lot of people that are buying homes and things, and they're stressed out at the end of the process and ready to quit. I don't ever get that with the people that they send me. They're always well educated on what's next, and they are well prepared for how things go. And that's
We're
important.
a small town company, and it's kind of like when you are from a small town, everybody knows what everybody else
Yeah.
says, and everybody knows, and that's not.
What small town are you guys from?
Gregory. Gregory's in the southwest lowest corner of Livingston County. It
Where
actually
the four corners come together.
touches Livingston, Ingham, Washtenaw, and Jackson County, which puts us in a unique place, but we make friends all over, so we often wind up in Genesee, Shiawassee, Oakland, Wayne counties. I mean,
So you guys cover a large area of
we
Michigan.
we do. It really depends on the situation and what the client needs. And if we can't help you, we do have a trusted referral network of people that we've been working with for a long time. There's a lot of great people in the real estate industry, but it is important to find somebody that you feel is listening to you, that has the time to talk to you when you have questions, answers your text messages, your phone calls, and emails, whichever one you prefer. And those are things that we cater to. Customer service is our biggest priority, is making sure that you're happy, making sure that what you get is more than what you expected to get in the end. But it is a team effort, and I'm only as good as the lender that you pair me with, because they can, believe it or not, put roadblocks in front of me. And we are the very best at getting over, under, around,
We don't like roadblocks.
through roadblocks. But it's amazing what some lenders, I will not name any names, but there's some that we try to avoid sometimes. And just because it's not necessary to you, we know that they charge more. We know that their closing fees are higher. We know that they charge more for appraisals.
And they never answer their phone?
They never answer their phone. They say press 1 for this random person that's never heard of you, and you're going to have to explain your life to them.
So you're stuck in your deal with them.
And then you'll wind up eventually in somebody's voicemail box, and they'll get back to you within 7 days. So we don't like that. We do work pretty much 364 days a year. Although we do still do fun things, we just bring our phone with us. Horses are very important to us. We always make time for horses, like I said, every morning. I do try to ride at least my horse, if not other horses that my trainer puts me on. I want to rein. I want to be competitive in the reining world. But we're starting with Pleasure and Halter this year, so that's exciting. I got a horse at an auction. My mom actually picked her out because she said she was standing in the back and looked really angry and hated everybody, but she was beautiful. So
Oh, beautiful, bred to the hilt.
she's amazing. We've been at my trainer's place for 3 years now. And
That's just because it's fun.
yeah, it's really fun to learn from somebody like John that has been so competitive in the horse industry. And both of his kids are very competitive as well, so you get them with the bonus package when you work with him. But the entire team's so essential. From insurance, from making sure that your insurance person is not only providing you with a great monthly payment, but also what does that cover? What happens if a tree falls on my house? What happens if my neighbor's tree falls on my house?
Oh, that's awesome.
And it happens sometimes, most of the time, a day before closing or something when you're selling your house, but they're amazing to work with. No, that just happened to me last week. That's why I was joking. But Doug, let's hear more about these programs they have going on right now to save people money.
Yeah, so the government's rolled out based off your income. So if you make too much income, you might not qualify. But if you fall into what they call the average median income, in that there's like a zip code that you search, there's a database that I can look up for you. You potentially could get up to between $2,500 to $3,500 off your closing costs. There's actually something out there right now for, it's actually a bill, it hasn't been signed in yet, for $25,000 on FHA.
Awesome.
Which
Wow.
is, that's going to be a big deal for down payment and closing costs.
And isn't the goal with that, because in the recent years we've seen such a competitive market that FHAs, VAs, and RD loans often got tossed aside, and they pulled out the conventional loans and only looked at those ones. So the government's goal here was to put everybody on a more level playing field so that the seller doesn't feel like they're getting a disadvantage by taking an FHA offer.
And that's a little bit less of an obnoxious thing right now. We were there for a while. We'd lay out 10 offers on the floor and start bullet pointing what was what. And
But there are still highest and best going on right now, especially as the springtime.
Another quick note, so on FHA, which is backed by HUD, so the monthly payments used to have this mortgage insurance that would make the payment much higher. Just recently, they lowered it significantly. It was like 30 basis points. So, you know, that could be like $100 lower in a monthly payment compared to, let's say, a conventional, which is kind of the common loan through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. You probably hear about that. I just had one the other day where had somebody pre-approved on a conventional, came back with this change, and now it's a better situation for the client with a lower payment.
Yeah.
So I keep up to date with all that. I look at it. You know, we can adjust your pre-approval based off of changes like that. So if this bill passes, you get $25,000 here in the next few months if it goes through. You know, that's something we can save you some money, a lot of money.
Absolutely. Bouncing back to horse properties and inspections. So becoming a property inspector is much like becoming an ordained minister. Not a lot of people know that if you're not in the real estate industry. You might think that because he's a home inspector that he was a builder. He might have been, but ask him, find out. The best thing to do is get a referral from a friend. Get a referral from your realtor. Get a referral from somebody that you know that bought a house and loved their inspector, because there are amazing inspectors out there, and just like any other business, there are inspectors out there that just
they're not regulated.
they're not regulated. They don't know construction. They aren't as big of a benefit to you, and an inspection is the perfect place to put your foot in the door and find out if there's anything that you couldn't have seen while you were walking through the house, looking at it with your agent reasonably. You wouldn't have been able to see issues with your roof, issues with your attic. Big thing we see is so many houses for so long were blowing the bathroom vent into the attic, which of course traps moisture and grows mold. But guess what? All of the houses were built like that, but they are starting to fix that. But items like that, you can negotiate with the seller, get concessions, get money off in a lot of situations, get them fixed so that you can move into a more sound house in the end. And these are all things that they go missed every day. Little things that it takes somebody with construction knowledge and experience to catch. The way that shingles were laid. It sounds boring, but it's very important to have a very good inspector.
And these are all reasons why you should never rely on Zillow or Realtor.com to buy a property, or rely on Progressive.com to handle your insurance, because I'm telling you, if you have a claim, we also sell insurance through them. They're not easy to work with. Although they have a great online platform, it's
Yes.
easy. It seems easy to go on there and get things done, but it's not always the way to go. Our jobs here, as in part of this transaction, is to help our clients make things, look out for things like that. Make sure they have a good inspector, make sure they have a good lender that can get them the best rate, and make sure they have the proper insurance, and then
Boots
like
on
they
the
said.
ground.
Yeah.
Boots on the ground. So having a realtor that's knowledgeable on construction too, what it all comes down to is experience. And that's what you're gonna get when you hire the best team. So let's do the raffle.
Are any questions, guys?
Yeah, go back to questions?
Well, I have two.
Absolutely.
Southwest Michigan, like Kalamazoo County. Do you guys work there at all? There or recommend anyone there?
Yeah, we can definitely talk to you afterwards and get your information so that we can send over a trusted referral for that area if it's not something that we do work.
Okay, and then the other thing is, you said viewing as many properties as you can, but what if there's only one property and nothing is
Yeah.
Like, then do you go view in other areas so you can kind of get a sense, or do you just?
If you want to live in those areas, it doesn't really do you good to go to an area that you wouldn't want to live in and view properties, because the price
value
is
will be
relative
different.
to the location. But if, even if it's not something that you would absolutely love, if it's kind of close, that's what I mean. If it's kind of similar to what you want, still go and look at it. But Inventory is the biggest problem. It's a huge problem right now that the real estate industry continues to face. There aren't builders out there just making cookie cutter spec homes and then selling them. They're only building custom contracted houses to people and they're already sold. So that is what continues to drive the prices in real estate and make it such a good investment because they're not making any more land. Same with horse properties. Even if you just want a good investment, buying land is something that you can just buy and sit on and wait. Again, with the right team, getting it at the right price in the right area. All things that the right team is going to make sure that you do so that just sell it as soon as you have enough equity to achieve the goal that you bought it intended for. Having more land is never going to hurt you. So my niece, Jolene, who rides for the Little Britches Rodeo Association, is going to be the official selector of the raffle so that we make sure it's totally fair. Okay.
We're looking in
all three counties here on Tuscola or Sanilac. I worked in Sanilac,
Okay.
but I don't care if I have to drive as long as it's a good house.
There's such limited inventory that people are starting to look at a bigger radius. If you're comfortable driving that, but let me pass this off really quick and I'll come right back with my phone so I can make sure to get that over to you guys this weekend. Oh, this is for, but I can bring some. Thank you. Oh, yep, but I'm gonna give this to him and come right back for you. Okay. Southeast of here, you know where Dansville's at?
Yes.
It's the next town over. We have a bar just like the Wooden Nickel. It's called the Country Pub.
Standing right there. Okay. You want to sit over there?
She can sit in the chair.
Yeah, you can sit in the chair. It's very important there.
Yeah. All right, we'll put the sweatshirts up here. Mom, do you want to start passing out well, I guess we can wait for it to fill in a little bit more.
Yeah.
Cat hair. Okay.
Do you know where you are?
Do you have any merch you want to raffle off?
Not today.
Okay.
Unfortunately. Sorry.
That's all right. Okay.
Cowboys.
Yeah, let's fold them in half. Yesterday we.
Acreage property.
Yeah.
Is there any way to get loans on that or?
Yes. Yes.
That'd be like a construction loan.
So we do love using greenstone for that. In Lake Michigan Federal Credit Union is another great one to use for land loans. Personally, I just love Greenstone. I love the people that I work with there. They have an office in Howell. You can go in there. They give you sweatshirts. They're super great to work with. And buying vacant land is a great opportunity that a lot of people don't have the time for because, you know, you're starting out without a septic field, without a well, without a house. But it is a great investment. And
A lot of
it's
realtors too won't take the time when it's vacant land because they want to move on to the next. I know Julia does a lot with vacant land and developments and things like that, so she's.
I love vacant land and I love subdivisions and just selling land because it's such an exciting thing for somebody to be building a house. It's very, you know, your realtor should be excited about the goals that you're accomplishing and sharing that joy.
Generally, you would probably know more about this than me, but generally when you buy vacant land to construction style loan, you have to have more cash.
Right.
Generally 20% down, but it can be a gift from a family member also, too. But the way that we can get you less of a down payment in some situations is by utilizing seller financing when appropriate, depending on what the seller is willing to accept for interest rate. We just got an offer accepted yesterday for a beautiful family. I'm so excited for them to move to Michigan, 60 acres. They're gonna fly up this week and park it and build a house there, and it's really exciting. Do you want to build a house, or do you want to put horses there or live there in a horse trailer?
Well, see, we don't really have a savings right now, but I was thinking if maybe we could buy something and closer to the city, and maybe in a year or two, you can resell it for a little bit more or something.
Yeah.
You know, that I was looking
So
at.
you can use zero down products for houses, and you could essentially try to accomplish the same thing through residential real estate. Just buying a property, maintaining it until you've built enough equity to do what you want to do. Vacant land hasn't gotten into the zero down payments yet.
What about land contracts?
Land contract standard is 20%, but the one that we got accepted this weekend, they only required 15%, so still savings, and that buyer will now have 3 years to get a construction loan and pay that off. And their payment will be the same in term. And then in the end, Greenstone will just take the ball on it. Yep.
We're all three.
Okay,
So we're
don't pick
building a
one,
home
just
on
don't
13
pick,
acres in
just
Adrian.
rifle
But seriously
through and
looking
pick one at
towards building
random.
a barn and then exploring, making it into a boarding facility or even a learning center with
Okay,
all the
see what we
homeschool
got.
explosion going on. So can we ask you about what zoning will allow in
I think that says
Monroe
Aaron.
County? Can we
Ewald.
maybe get your advice on what we land on? Say we say.
Ah, we have a winner.
That's gonna involve.
Do you like black
Can
or
we get a
gray?
loan center from our house loan on a school barn on a property like that for you?
That's a good question. Yeah, so I'd have to take it. I'd have to take a look at the property.
Next.
We could get, potentially do like a HELOC on the actual property, you could take, that could be a loan.
If you have the land paid off too, right, then that's.
Yeah, is the land paid off,
This person
or,
wrote bigger.
so there's a lien on the property. So yeah, we could get that
Okay.
based off the value of it, we could get a HELOC.
Chelsea.
We have
Get all
budget.
three of your cards.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we can help you get through the zoning on that as
I
well.
grew up in Lenawee County.
I don't know if you're coming last
Well, I
time.
have farms on there, sure, we're gonna get
All right.
Thank you so much for coming.
You guys coming from Michigan?
I wish that we did, because that's an awesome area. But I have somebody out there that I can come in.
Regular one?
Yep. Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it. Thank you for coming. Be right back. Thank you so much for coming.
Sexual molestation and stuff like
Do you
that.
want regular cards or no?
Like, like if you're looking at like.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
An
I
apple.
got Julie, I got
Or not figure, but like.
Dog,
And Kane.
and I need
Yeah, that's.
Okay. Magnet?
familiar with, like we were asking
And I'm not
about
seeing a ton of it yet. but
county
I know I can find
regulations, like
horse
every
flying,
county has a different number of acres
maybe
per
something
horse.
different.
Yes. Yes. It's not standardized. The most standardized thing is the Right to Farm Act. But just like the rest of the United States, the township is ultimately allowed to make additional infringements. And that is what we're referring to when we say it's so important to have the right team, because a lot of people buy and then they learn these things. Because your agent's like, oh, let's move forward, let's go. Regular or, okay.
Well, I'm most interested in your ability to discern the coding in Lenawee County, if you're able to do that.
Yeah, I can definitely put you in the right direction. Yep, with zoning guys. Let me grab my phone and come right back and get your phone number.
Okay, it's in my, I just wrote it in the, I wrote it in
What's
the-
your first name?
Dominic.
Dominic? Okay, I'll remember that. Dominic, and if you don't get a message from me, text me and say it's Dominic. Where's my zoning referral?
Okay.
Do you work together?